So we are back. This is the before and after for Super Troopers, and 2 actually. I recently saw the first one. Are you gonna pretend you're not here? Okay. Not really my type of comedy, but a free ticket, Videomatica delivered once again. And there's a lot of people lining up. People lined up an hour and a half before this movie started, and people are just nuts. Created by the same team, and it's produced, and it was a crowdfunder thing, so that's nice. So fans go wild. So yeah, no real expectations, and all I read is reviews. It's not as funny as the first one, which I would say that the first one wasn't that funny to begin with. So there's my expectations. This is before, and this is after. Wow. Okay. Seriously, I think all the reviews that I read, you clearly just weren't Canadians. You were all Americans, because I actually laughed a few more times.
Yeah.
Like, it was decent in a sense.
Yeah.
Played up stuff they did in the first one, with Farva being even more Farva.
Yeah, I think they did a better job though.
I think so. Yeah. It was a good balance of like actual sort of characters and jokes. Whereas the first one, I just felt like they were just trying to be doing.
It wasn't really that funny, and they didn't develop their character either. So.
Yeah, and then it was just a repeat of, well, in the first one, just like over and over again, the same style of comedy.
Not funny comedy,
but you know, still trying to do that gag, and you know the punchline is coming, but it's like, no. But here, I think it helps that you're a Canadian. I mean, Rob Lowe did a pretty good job being like the villain, or the mayor of whatever. Brian Cox he's a lot older.
Yeah.
I mean, it is 12 years ago, or 16 or whatever. He came out in 2000 whatever. But yeah, I mean, overall the cast, it's been so long, but I feel like having...
Well, I just watched it yesterday.
Yeah,
I just watched it on Sunday.
Same. I don't feel like they are like aged so badly that like, why is there a sequel? So visually, it seems like you would accept the narrative of that. This is happening right after the first one, rather than in real time 12 years. So I'm glad they didn't do the whole 12 years later type of thing.
Yeah.
So overall, good jokes. I think maybe, I don't know, the racism sometimes hits, but sometimes it's okay. Like the French jokes of speaking French, just saying French words, pretending you're speaking French, like that skag's been done like to death. But for here, like in the context,
when have you ever seen that been done to death? Who does that?
No, like usually it's like Japanese where they speak like just.
Yeah, okay.
But then it's never contextualized to the point like you need to pretend. I don't know. I'm thinking.
I think
of
it's
like,
because we can recognize all those French words as English words said.
Yeah, and I think it also helps that they are trying to be funny within the context, rather than like, oh, I'm pretending to speak Japanese in the other movies that I've seen. Because here they're like trying to make them look like fools, or the happiness in the household thing was actually that was pretty good. I don't know, you're shaking your head, but I was like, it's I don't know, it's kind of my humor where it's like took forever.
I kind of saw it coming when they said like, oh, you know, it's kind of like, oh, I'm angry. No, not really, but. Do you have to put a spoiler alert or something?
Oh, whatever, who cares? No one's gonna watch this. Everyone's gonna be like, why is there even a sequel coming out? So maybe hopefully watching this and seeing us enjoying it, that people
I actually
enjoyed
it. I
mean, it helps that it's for free. But like, would I pay for this per se? I don't think so, but...
I didn't feel like it was a waste of time.
No,
the first one I watched and I was like,
Yeah, the first one I think like, okay, I felt like it's so culty, like you need to have a following to actually enjoy this stuff. But here I think it's like a typical, just sort of stoner, but not... Or just,
not as bad. The first one was like very heavy on that.
Yeah. So I think the writing was a lot better. And I think it meshes well with what's been out comedy-wise. And I think that's the biggest thing, because I think like watching the first one recently, it just feels kind of off because the comedy style is so jarringly different from what you've seen lately, I would say. For me anyways.
I didn't even laugh once.
I think I laughed like once.
Really?
But I question that now. But yeah, overall, I think it was a good sequel. Like the fact that like
I think the sequel is actually better.
Yeah, like it builds off like everything that's been established in the first one, like how they're like just playing jokes on people, but then now they're like actual cops.
The jokes are actually funnier. The first time, I didn't think any of them were really that funny.
Because I think the biggest thing is that they're actually being cops this time. Whereas the first one, it's like they're fooling around and you don't understand why they're doing it.
True.
But here it's like, oh, we gotta do this, and then while fooling around, they're still doing their job. And I think so that narrative is more compelling than like random. Oh, it's so random.
Like, why are these people in uniforms messing with people on the highway?
Yeah. So I think that's always a plus. Lynda Carter actually speaks this time. It's just a few more lines, so she probably got paid more this time around. I don't know what else to say. Like, it's a hard sell because you weren't watching Super Troopers. You probably weren't gonna see this anyway. But at the same time, I feel like you have to watch the first one to enjoy this one even more.
Yeah.
Because you'll set yourself out for like expectation of, oh, it's just gonna be like the first one.
You see the first one's joke develop better, I think, in the second one. Yeah. It's like some of the jokes are like, oh, it's riffs off the first one.
Yeah, but it works.
But they're better.
Yeah, like the whole rabbit thing, being a rookie like that, carrying over is pretty hilarious. I think also like it feels authentic in a sense where they make fun of Americans and it's like, oh, so spot on. So
yeah, there was a few sick burns. So I think like maybe some of the more patriotic members who gave negative reviews probably felt the burns a little bit too
like
much. I think that's why they would give them negative reviews. That's actually, I think, way funnier. Not a waste of time to see the sequel versus the first one. I was like, oh, I'm so bored, never laughed.
I think it helps that you're not a diehard American. That you can just sort of laugh at your own culture and what's happening in your country right now. So it definitely helps that we're not there. But it did make fun of us a lot. Granted,
for sure.
I swear, like, when Americans watch this, they're going to think we're all French speakers.
Yeah, and then we all have heavy accents.
Yeah, like, or whatever. So that kind of like, oh, that's like the humbling moment of like, oh, yeah, they're making fun of us too now, damn it. But it's okay, it's okay. Everyone laughs, everyone loses. Japan loses the most, I would say. Anyway, I think we're good here. Super Troopers 2 is actually, I wouldn't say like worth your time, but it's not a waste of time. It's
not bad.
Yeah, I would say that. Anyways, that's it. This is the before and after for Super Troopers 2. Out.